In this WrestleTalk news, Matt Riddle has been suspended by WWE, a former AEW star debuts for WWE, Luke's review of Raw, and more.
Support WrestleTalk!
On last week's episode of Raw, Matt Riddle was written off TV by being brutally attacked by Solo Sikoa, being stretchered out of the arena. Speculation following that angle was that Riddle was having some time off, but new reports have emerged stating that that is not the case. According to Cassidy Haynes of Bodyslam.net, the reason Riddle was written off TV was because he has actually been suspended by WWE because of a failed drug test. However, there's a lot more to this story, as this is also reportedly Riddle's second failed drug test, with the previous infraction coming shortly before SummerSlam, forcing WWE to scrap the scheduled Riddle vs. Rollins match and delay it to Clash at the Castle instead. At the time, this change was put down to a change in creative direction, and while I guess that is still technically true, the reason for that change in creative is something it seems they were forced into. According to the report, Riddle was informed when he failed his first drug test that if he received a second failure, he would be subject to a rehab or fired consequence. Riddle reportedly has been suspended for 6 weeks and has been sent to rehab, where he has either already started treatment or will be undergoing it shortly. Now, before anyone makes any Weed 420 jokes in the comments, it's worth noting that WWE no longer tests for marijuana as part of their wellness policy, so this will have been something different. Meanwhile, in AEW, the company may have hired one of the low-key biggest names they could have. On the surface, a backstage AEW hire doesn't seem all that noteworthy, but the hiring of Michael Mansuuri could prove to be monumental. Mansuuri is a former WWE Vice President of Global Television Production and has been hired by AEW to start work as of this week's Dynamite. His new title within AEW is Senior Vice President and Co-Executive Producer. Aside from the obvious he's an ex-WWE guy, why would this hire be particularly noteworthy? Well, according to Fightful Select's WWE sources, Mansuuri was the guy who was poised to take over from Kevin Dunn, and despite leaving WWE after Triple H took over from Vince McMahon, he was keen to bring Mansuuri back to the company. But now, Mansuuri's joined AEW instead. Interestingly, one particular anti-AEW source reportedly has called this hire the biggest hiring this year for AEW, so even anti-AEW guys are acknowledging what a get this is for the company. And even taking aside the WWE element, Mansuuri's contributions to AEW are no doubt going to come through, as production has been a sore spot for AEW since its inception. But it's not just former WWE people leaving for AEW, as a former AEW wrestler debuted for WWE yesterday too. Kylie Rae worked the main event tapings last night under her new name, Brianna Ray, which interestingly is her actual name. This comes off the back of her WWE tryout last week. She reportedly faced Dana Brooke in her match. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to give us a subscribe and like the video so you can stay up to date with the latest wrestling news. We upload daily wrestling news videos and a bunch of other content. Check it all out. Now, hot tag to Luke.
Thank you for your support on Patreon, the venerable Jesse Venable and the cleaner Kenny Shah. Get your own personalized Patreon shoutouts on the WrestleTalk news by going to patreon.com/WrestleTalk. And now it's time for my review of Monday Night Raw, aka yes, I would buy Bluey Bling edition of Monday Night Raw in about 5 minutes. This show kicked off with the culmination of a mini tournament last week to crown a new #1 contender to Bianca Belair, as Alexa Bliss and Bayley went head-to-head in direct competition. Despite the teasers of a return to spooky Alexa last week, Bliss wrestled this match like her usual self. Damage Control were taken out early by Becky Lynch, and Bayley arguing with Belair at ringside after taking off a turnbuckle pad led to Bliss hitting Twisted Bliss for the win, which means it will be Alexa versus Belair for the Raw Women's Championship at some point down the line. After the match, Bliss went in for a hug with Belair, and a flash of Bray Wyatt's logo appeared on screen, and that pull for a hug turned into an attempted Sister Abigail. Bliss, realizing what she just did, stopped the move and apologized for what transpired, walking away very confused. This was a brilliant little moment and a nice step forward in this Alexa storyline. The match itself was decent stuff, but the post-match was excellent. Becky brawling with Damage Control was also a neat little way to further that storyline too. And storylines are currently something that's missing for the OC, who set up a match between AJ Styles and Chad Gable after they laughed at Alpha Academy getting milked last Friday. The bout itself was the very good quality you'd expect from Styles and Gable having a 9-minute match, and AJ won with a Styles clash. Lots of technical reversals, submission attempts, and wrestling. It was all very good, just a little empty? The Judgment Day beat Street Profits and Akira Tozawa in a very fun 6-man tag, which featured a brilliant hot tag by Angelo Dawkins and an even better one by Akira Tozawa. So lovely to see Tozawa actually wrestle again, and it begs the question why he was doing 24/7 comedy shtick for so long in the Vince era. The finish, though, was the best part of the proceedings. It came down to Tozawa and Dominic Mysterio, and Tozawa had him set up to be beaten twice, but Dom was saved on both occasions by Finn Balor and Damian Priest respectively, which led to Dom pinning Tozawa off Damian Priest's Razor's Edge. It's a brilliant bit of character work, this slimy, useless dork getting a big win despite nearly losing twice, and he did it off someone else's move. But his teammates celebrate him like he did everything. I love this act so much, and I love Dom's role in it. Give them all the belts. Speaking of people giving things, segue, Dexter Lumis and Johnny Gargano were trying to decide on how to spend Dexter's money he won from The Miz, with ideas like turning themselves into real-life Avengers, creating a money pit like Scrooge McDuck, or my personal favourite, Bluey Blink, which I would buy for real life. It led to the pair instead buying everything they could afford with their big bag of cash from the merchandise stall. Given how much wrestling merchandise costs these days, that's probably about 2 t-shirts, am I right? And then gave those out to the live crowd while doing some bad improv comedy, like I just did there. And while you may think this is just a lovely little festive thing to do during the holiday period, it was actually here to set up Dexter Lumis's next feud. I asked a few weeks ago, after Dexter Lumis finished his feud with The Miz, which lasted 16 weeks, what could be next for the child-friendly axe murderer? Who could he feud with now he's done with The Miz? Well, we got our answer here, because Dexter Lumis' next big feud is with The Miz. The Miz came out to steal back his money, but was stopped by Adam Pearce, who, I guess, felt his spidey sense tingle or something, as he came out very quickly to stop him and made him give Dexter back the cash. Miz wanted to win the money back in a rematch, and Gargano suggested they do it in a ladder match, Double or Nothing, next week. After some very lame comedy, it was all accepted. So, I guess, it will now be 19 weeks by the time this storyline ends, and even then, I feel like there will be more! Thankfully, that was the only good thing on this week's Raw, as Candice LeRae and Io Sky had a decent little match that Sky won with her over-the-moonsault. Sky was 100% the right winner here, as she's defending her tag titles this Friday, but it sort of sucks for Candice LeRae. It seems though her storyline was supposed to be extracting revenge on Damage Control for injuring her a few months ago. Maybe she needs to find her own tag team partner. Elias held a memorial concert for Matt Riddle, which featured him singing a song about how they're best friends, and made a weed reference, which is hilarious when you consider why Riddle is currently not on TV. It led to a pretty boring match between Elias and Solo Sikoa, which the crowd only reacted to when Sami Zayn was doing anything. Solo won with a spinning solo, and then gave him the Samoan spike after the match. He set up to break Elias's neck like he did Riddle's last week, but Kevin Owens ran out to make the save, also giving Elias the stunner because he's the only one around here who gives a shit about the continuity. Asuka and Rhea Ripley had a very, very good and physical match, which saw Dom run interference and get misted, allowing Ripley to hit the Riptide for the win. They protected Asuka in the lot here by having Dom put Ripley's foot on the ropes while she was in the Asuka lock, and they really played up that she wasn't wearing her usual makeup, and referencing those social media posts she's been doing recently of her old gimmick in Japan. Her losing here and losing last week should be leading to something very, very cool down the line. Dolph Ziggler cut a promo on Austin Theory, which nicely led into a #1 contenders match to Theory's US title between Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley as the main event. Seth Rollins is perhaps the best wrestler in WWE right now to do the WWE main event babyface style. He is so freaking good at it, no pun intended. He and Bobby worked brilliantly together in this match, which saw Rollins win when he reversed Lashley's second spear attempt into a pedigree. They did protect Lashley somewhat in the finish, as he hit his first spear, but the referee was out of position to count the pin, which gave Rollins enough time to kick out. It was very creative, and it led into the post-match, where Lashley shoved down that referee. Adam Pearce came out to shout at Lashley, and when Bobbles shoved him, Pearce fired him on the spot. He should have fired him last week for spearing poor Petey Williams. Where's the respect for Petey Williams? It was a cool closing angle, and I'm curious to see where it leads. Does Pearce bring in someone for Lashley to face if and when he returns, or does Lashley now go to SmackDown? maybe even NXT. So that was this week's Raw, and outside of the obvious Dexter Lumis Miz stuff that doesn't do it for me, but I appreciate that many of you watching do like it, I did like everything else on the episode. This week's Raw is an easy 4 out of 5 for me.
In this WrestleTalk news, an AEW star suspended, Ronda Rousey says she wants to become a tag wrestler, the future of ROH and more.